Live, just give it a few seconds because there's a slight delay to get us out on Instagram, and we want to get on Instagram, so just give us a second for us to do that. If you are here now, if you watch it on Facebook or LinkedIn or YouTube, or I think that's it, let us know who is here. It is Friday. How has your week been? How has your day been? We all hope you are well. Helen, how are you doing?
I am good. I've had a very busy week and a very, very productive day today. And we're a bit puddled tonight, aren't we? We're in a fun mood tonight.
We're in a fun mood. We're in a good mood. I want to start this actually by just saying a massive thank you, genuinely, a really huge, big, massive, huge. I said huge. Just any other words that mean really big. Thank you, genuinely. I was just saying to Helen just then, I'm so excited. I'm so grateful. You're probably going to know right now that we have a webinar on Monday. You'll probably also know that it's our launch of this year's intake of Online Business Program, which is my main signature program. The amount of support, the amount of people that are excited to get involved, that are happy to, encourage others to get involved and shout out about it, is just the best feeling. If anyone's followed me for a while, you'll know I've been in business 15 years. I've been coaching and running my memberships and so on about 5-6 years now. And I've always just believed in really focusing on integrity and putting people first. The ethos in my main company, Tribute Arts Management, that I started years ago. Part of that, I always said to the team, is people first, profit second. And I just always believed in that, in building great relationships, working with integrity. And sometimes it means you make less money. Sometimes you question it when you see other people out there charging a lot more money and whatever. And I was just like, no, I'm going to stick with that. Emily says, hello, we have each one on Insta. Hey, Emily, how are you? I hope you're good. Thank you for being here. Sometimes you question it and think maybe you should be more ruthless in business. And I've had mentors that have told me I'm too nice and I need to be more ruthless and all that kind of thing. And I just really feel today so grateful and proud, because the love we're seeing out there with social media, the DMs, the messages that we're having with people genuinely excited, genuinely wanting to be on this program. It's a really amazing feeling right now. And I'm so excited for Monday. And I'm just so grateful for everybody as well. It's a lot of work, isn't it? Hey, Jen, we've got over on Instagram. Let us know who's here. Please do let me know. Gorgeous, proud Yorkshire accent. Yes, says Emily. Absolutely. Gotta be Yorkshire and strong with your accent. It just feels ace. Yeah. It just feels ace to know that we've got that reputation. I think the thing I was trying to say, my head's all over the place. But basically what I was trying to say is, in the online industry, there's an awful lot of skepticism and people like saying, oh, everything's a scam, and business coaches and just, it's all a scam. It's this, that, and the other. You have got people that genuinely are not, like, don't have good intentions and do shady stuff. So it can sometimes feel like a shit industry to be a part of. That's the truth. It sometimes you can sometimes think, is this really the industry that I want to be in? But I believe in it. I believe in what we do. I believe in the mission, the vision. I believe in the potential. And you stick with it. And then you get days like this where you go, actually, it was worth sticking with it. How are you finding it? Because it's been a lot, Helen.
It's been a lot, but do you know what? It's like the passion keeps you going, doesn't it? And the momentum keeps you going. Like you said, we know that what we're doing and all this work that we're doing is going into is bringing this webinar to people on Monday that is going to help, and it's going to potentially completely change people's lives. And I think that just keeps you going and it motivates you. And like you said, feeling that love coming from so many people that we've got to know over the years, and people that are members of our community and stuff like that, I think that keeps you going as well, doesn't it? Because when you start flagging and all the rest of it, and then you get all of that support coming, and people are so behind you, and they're turning up to these lives every day, and they're they're just amazing, so supportive, and it's just, yeah, I'm just so excited now. Like, I can't believe, because it's been weeks and weeks and weeks. It's like, you look at it, it's like, oh, it's 8 weeks away, and now it's like, it's on Monday, and it's like,
I've never felt more ready though for this. Like, I really feel we had a bit of a trial launch and intake last year.
Yeah.
And we're seeing people get great results, be enthusiastic. We're seeing people now, what is it, 6-7 months later after people enrolled, still fully engaged with the process, which is unheard of with a lot of, like, the number of people that we've got, the percent of people that are still engaged is quite unique in the course industry space, whatever you want to call it. So that just gives us even more confidence and belief in what we're doing and how it's changing lives and how we've cracked it, in the sense of, you know, we're not just giving people the information, but we're keeping them supported and engaged to implement what they're learning. So I just feel like so grateful to everyone, but so ready to really help people on Monday. So, but anyway, that's about the webinar. Irrespective of that, if you're not signed up, drop us a DM. We can send you the link to get you signed up. It's a free webinar on Monday, and we'll be launching my main paid program that we were speaking about there. But tonight, this is a video for you if you are either really kind of toying with the idea of starting an online business and having an income online, or if you're in business, but you want to make sure you're kind of on the right path. We're just going to share here some of the biggest mistakes people make in business and in the early years of business. And when we just came up with this concept earlier, I was like, oh my God, there's so much that comes to mind. I just started writing loads of stuff down, but I could probably think of a lot more, but these are just like 8 that we're just going to spend a bit of time. Oh my God, I'm going to sneeze.
You said before the hay fever hasn't got you, and now it's coming.
I don't. Ooh, I just felt it.
Talking, don't worry, you sneeze.
I think I'm all right. I just felt it come really sudden. I think we're okay. So yeah, these are 8 things basically that really are important to be aware of. Hey, we've got Helen Short over on Instagram as well. Says, hey guys, you're doing so well, leading by example. Oh, thank you for that. And Jen is over on Instagram and said 100% this. Yeah, I mean, you've got to lead by example. I think that's such an important thing for anybody that's going to teach things or coach things or be a mentor or anything like that. You know, the best don't just tell people what to do. They show. Yeah,
walk the walk, don't just talk the talk. We've got a comment from Adi as well on LinkedIn saying, it's the longest I've personally stuck into a program, testament to the team and community you've created.
Wow.
There you go.
That. And do you know where that comes from? I haven't stuck to programs. Like, I have been that client that goes, I buy stuff. It sounds great. I know I want the result it promises. But then because of the lack of accountability, the lack of community, the lack of live coaching, the lack of support, I don't stick to it because life happens. And I've really thought about that with this program, is how can we solve those problems so that people don't just buy something and know they need and want it, but they actually go on and do it.
Yeah.
And it's all that stuff, isn't it? But that's great feedback. It's one thing thinking you've got it sorted. It's another seeing so many people stick with it.
Yeah, it's amazing. And it's so lovely to see how it has just, you know, it's worked. What we've done has worked. And like, we're so excited now to do it again, because it's like we've learned so much from doing it, and now we can do it again and even better, which is just amazing.
Yeah, I mean, people joining us this time as well, we've learned so much more in the last 6-7 months, haven't we? From the events that we've put on, and obviously we had our first sold out event, to working with the clients, working through this program, to then preparing for our own new launch. Like, there's so much more. You're just going to get the absolute best. Even though this is my 15th year in business, I would say the last 6 months or so, I've learned more than ever, really.
Huge growth. And a lot of it by making mistakes and getting it wrong sometimes. And then we've gone, oh, okay, well, we need to do that different, or need to give ourselves longer for that period, and we need to do this and that and the other. And it's like, all of that we can pass on and hand down to people, and it saves them making the same mistakes. So it's amazing.
100%. I'm just on Facebook now. We've got Mark here. I mean, he had a little bit of a dig. He said,
Oh.
God, I'm so sick of your voice today. And he said, only joking. I literally don't know how you do it. You've worked so hard. That's the secret ingredient. I'd never have done anything with the course if you had not supported me so well. Mark, thank you so much. Yeah, that's another one of the students that are currently on Online Business Mastery from last year's intake. Just acing it. I just feel, I don't want to be like overly soppy because it'll just be boring, but I just feel so grateful, so proud. It's just, yeah, and so frigging ready for the new intake as well. So, mistakes that people make when they're in the early stages of an online business. The first one that I wrote down straight away is inconsistency with showing up. People have great ideas. I mean, it just touches on what we've just said there, isn't it? They have great ideas and they have so much potential and ability, but it's like the secret ingredient that is so simple. This is what I always say: business is simple, but it's not easy because we allow our mindset, our fears, our doubts, whatever, to stop the consistency. But I just wanted to put that in there today to say, guys, anyone listening, it's really is that simple. If you can just break through that barrier and just start to be consistent. And remember, consistency doesn't mean every day working all day at a high level and being superhuman. It's just doing something every day. That's what consistency is. Or even having the odd day where you don't, but it's like that's the exception to the rule. But you don't have a bad day and then not show up for a week. That's what people do, right? They have, oh, well, I've blown it now and I'm out of the mood and I'm not in the focus, so they don't do anything for a week. No, you just go, I can give myself one day every now and then, but tomorrow I'm back to it and I'm going to do something. I think that's a huge one. Anything you want to add to that about the consistency bit?
I think with that, definitely coming back to some personal development can really help with that as well. And like a lot of what you teach in Success School in terms of, putting strategies in place to help you help yourself as well. So things like learning techniques to be able to manage your time better, to schedule and things like that. I think if you're going into something like this, if you're starting like this, or even if you're already doing it, but you know that you're not good at staying consistent, that can be game changing, because just scheduling in a day and saying like, no, even if you can't do all day, or maybe you've only got a couple of hours in the evening, but if you schedule and you're intentional with what you're going to do with that time, you're more likely to stick to actually doing it rather than kind of winging it. Because the problem is, I think with modern life, your attention's being pulled in so many different directions all the time, and everybody wants a piece of you, and so many things are demanding you, that unless you're being super intentional with your time and deciding that that time is set aside for that thing, you just don't get around to it. You can have the best will in the world. But, and this is something I have learned the hard way, believe me. But I've learned the strategies. I use them every day. Matt uses them every day, and they work.
We've been having to, haven't we, recently more than ever? Like, there's so much that we could be doing, need to be doing, should be doing, that if we didn't have those strategies in place and you weren't scheduling, it wouldn't get done. I mean, that's one thing, just coming over to Mark's comment on Facebook, just saying about, what was it he said? Like, I literally don't know how you do it. You've worked so hard. It's having those strategies and little breaks along the way that you scheduled and things like that. Like, we'll be like, right, I'm going to the gym at that time, just so you know we can't do it. Like, we're having those times for ourselves scheduled in. It's a massive part of it, isn't it?
Yeah, you've got to have that balance. But if you don't schedule it, you don't manage your time right, then you find that you end up doing nothing, kind of thing. It's like your time just disappears. Whereas actually, if you can be a bit more organized and you can get it like scheduled and nailed, somehow you do find time to fit a gym session in, or you find time to do your cleaning or your cooking or whatever it is that you need to get done. It just makes your life so much easier to manage. Like, I can't stress it enough. I think that's one of the biggest skills that people lack, that they need to learn. And you've done so much content on that they can look up and find and get help with.
I think something else I've always said to people as well is have non-negotiables that are daily and make them simple, right? So just what could be a non-negotiable if you're new to business could be, I'm going to post something on social media every day. Now, something could just simply be a written status that's a paragraph or a couple of sentences. That's something, but it's still being visible. It's still putting something out there that represents your brand and your ethos and your mission and your message and your vision or whatever it may be. It's still just something where you're being visible. That could be a daily non-negotiable. Now, it doesn't need to be, I'm going to go live for half an hour, or I'm going to put heavily produced content out there every day. Just, I always say, have two things. One is your daily non-negotiables, which is simple and easy to do, easy not to do. But then on the other hand, have the like superhuman best version of yourself. And it's like when the extra momentum and motivation is there, or there's a deadline and you have to, you know what that version looks like and you apply yourself like that. And then not throughout the other times, consistency might just look like at least doing your daily non-negotiables, which is just something for your business. So I said I had 8 things, and while we were talking earlier, I thought there's another that I need to put in. So it's going to be 9. I've just added one, and that is, and I think this is a really big one, and I see this daily with clients, so I really want to highlight it, guys. It's this need for complete certainty with everything you do is a massive mistake. And people kind of understand this one logically, but they don't do it. They still need it emotionally. But if you're going to wait for even 80% certainty that this is the perfect business idea or model, or this will definitely make money, or, if you're going to wait for absolute certainty, you will wait forever, because the only thing that's certain in life is that nothing's certain, right? So I really want to put that there for everybody listening right now. Please reflect on that. How much are you holding yourself back on really pushing yourself, making decisions? You've got to be a good decision maker in business. You have to be able to think fast, be decisive, commit to the decision, and then learn from doing, where you evaluate quick and you pivot quick and you adapt quickly. That is a skill set I think is essential for business, but it's kind of pretty up there for life as well. If you can get better at not needing certainty, something that I teach and I learned from Tony Robbins is the 6 human needs. And that it's the suggestion that we all have these 6 needs, or 4 in particular, that we all need to meet on some level every day. And then 2 that most of us needs to meet most of the time. And one of them is certainty. And I always remember when Tony was teaching that, saying the worst need to value highest is certainty. He sort of says certainty and significance are the worst 2. If you put them high on your hierarchy of needs, if you really value certainty and significance, they're the ones that are going to screw you up, being led by the need for certainty. So I really want to highlight that, guys. Like, there's nothing certain in this life. Yes, it's not about being reckless or just careless. You still need a level of certainty. But, the thing that I share a lot, and I'll cover it on the webinar on Monday, is what Barack Obama said, which, when he was saying he was president of America, you're only dealing with massive decisions, like, they affect an entire country, like huge decisions. And he was like, in that position, these are massive impacts to your decisions. And you never have the luxury of being 100% certain with anything. In his thing that he said was, just get to 51% based on the information you have present in that moment. Be 51% certain that that's the best opportunity. Commit to it, take action, and then very quickly learn, adapt as you need to. And I just wanted to put that one in there to say, guys, reflect on that tonight. How many of you are still not pushing forward in your business or starting your business because you're still needing absolute certainty that it will work? You'll never get it. I tell you when you'll get it, when it's worked.
Yeah.
But it won't work unless you go for it, right? And often, again, something people hear all the time is failure, fail fast, fail forward. Like, so be all right with that. Sometimes you need to get it wrong and make mistakes and fail to then figure out how to succeed. Anything you want to add?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that was definitely me. Going back years ago when I came to you for coaching, certainty was absolutely my number one. And the good news is that you can change it, which is, you can work on it and you can change it. And it's not easy, but my life has improved tenfold since I've stopped that being the most important need of mine. Because, like you said, you're striving for something that's completely unattainable. In any area of your life, there isn't certainty. It causes massive anxiety to be trying to achieve certainty where it just doesn't exist. So for me, it's all shifted now. And I would say for me now, it's more my main thing is like being of service kind of thing and being able to serve others, which means that I have to sit with that uncertainty and I have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And, you know, I just think that there's so much on the other side of that. And actually, what I have realised is that life is more fulfilling because another one of the needs is uncertainty.
Mm.
And actually, I used to avoid uncertainty because it scared me. So I wouldn't go into situations where there was uncertainty or anything like that. And now I've started to, I feel a lot more fulfilled because there's so much more excitement on that side of things. It's like, instead of viewing it as like, well, I don't know how that's going to turn out and that being a bad thing, it's like, well, I don't know how that's going to turn out. That can be a really, really, really good thing.
Wow, that's powerful. You know, you're just basically, you're still having the same feeling, but the frame in which and the kind of context, you basically reframe that and you see it as a good thing rather than a bad thing, and it just changes everything.
Yeah.
The same emotion, just with a different perspective. That's so simple, right?
So simple, but it changes everything. Because if you go into something thinking, oh, well, I don't know, it's anxiety, or you can go into it thinking, you know, say you're going into an event, for example, and it's like, well, I don't know, but then it can be like, well, you don't know who you're going to meet, you don't know what opportunities are going to come, you don't know what doors are going to open, you don't, like, it's exciting. It's exciting, and that's how I just try to frame it now. Don't always get it perfect, but much better than I ever did.
That's just really interesting to hear as well, because obviously that's been a massive battle for you, and you've openly spoke about that, you know, for years really. But that's really inspiring to hear that you step into the uncertainty and you just have a different mindset and different approach around it, which is brilliant. So yeah, that's a massive one. Is we've really got to get away from this need for certainty, because it just doesn't exist. So that was the second one. The third one, which I was really guilty of for so long, and I think really, I'm going to say around the last 18 months, I've kind of cracked it, or certainly the best ever. Tom, thank you for the follow, mate. I appreciate that. It's yo-yoing. It's kind of, they call it like shiny penny syndrome, don't they? I think that's a massive one for people when they're in a business. Is they start something, they have an idea, or they've seen a coach talking about an idea, and they're like, okay, let's give this a go because I can kind of see how it'll work and I want to make more money or whatever. And then it's taken a while to get results and they're not getting any money. And then they're kind of going, it's a lot of work, or, you know, I'm having to show up on social media all the time, and sometimes nobody's watching my videos, and all these things go in their head. So then they see pop up an advert for a coach saying, you can make millions without having to do a single post on social media. Just follow my strategy. So people go, oh my God, I'll go with that person. I don't even have to do any social media. Or then another coach pops up and says, have you heard coaches telling you to send loads of DMs and have conversations? Well, I built my multi-million-pound business without sending a single DM. Follow my strategy. So people then just keep it's shiny penny syndrome. But the reality is most of those strategies being taught will absolutely work if you literally stick to it for long enough. And long enough means consistently every week, month after month, for probably around, and it varies, 18 months to 2 years. 18 months to 2 years. That's what we're talking about. That's probably long enough. That's when you'll start getting really good results. Now, some people can get results quicker, but if you can go into it that attitude and that approach of, I know it'll probably take about 18 months till I start making really good money, but that's 18 months of being consistent every single week, not a couple of weeks and then nothing for a couple of, like, that's the truth, right? Very few people do that. And the ones that do are the ones you see on your timeline making great money and having great businesses. So that is a huge one that I got. And look, I was still making money, but nowhere near the level of money, the level of impact that I could make and that I'm now starting to have when I was yo-yoing and doing a bit of this and doing this, that thing of jack of all trades, master of none, and just dipping your toe into stuff. You've got to commit. You've got to really go all in. So that's a big one, is stop doing bits of stuff. Do one thing really well for long enough until it's making you good money, and it will come if you get good at it. Anything from your side, Helen?
Yeah, I think just to reiterate what you said, it is something that we see an awful lot with people where they will try something. And I think a lot of the time it can come from a bit of a scarcity mindset, like you said, where they're like, well, I'm not seeing any money. And it's like, well, that's a case of managing your expectations and actually going into it, like you just said, with the expectation of, well, you're not going to necessarily see that straight away. It's going to be a bit of a longer game than that. And I think also it's impatience. I think we've become a culture of wanting instant results with everything, whether that be dieting, whether that be business, relationships, everything. And very few good things come that quick, in my opinion. So again, it's expectations. It's recognizing that like nothing worth having comes that easy. If it's a quick fix, it's probably a bit of a red flag in my eyes.
I agree. And it's that phrase that I say, which the slow way is the fast way. Like the fastest way is doing it properly, which takes time, which is consistency. Reminds me of a conversation I was having with a friend last night who was encouraging. He had a friend that he was like, I think your course would be great for them. And I'd love them to come to the webinar and find out more about it. And the friend went, well, hang on, you signed up to that course 6 months ago. How much money have you made? And he was like, well, I've not made money from it yet. And she, well, there you go. Surely if it was this amazing course, you'd be telling me you've made millions. Why would I? And I was just like, that's the problem. Yeah. Like, more like if you're doing business properly, really properly, you remember that the heart of business is relationship building, is remembering that people buy from people they know, like, and trust. How can you trust somebody in a couple of weeks? Or like, trust takes time, and building a community and also getting good at what you do. You can learn how to grow a business, but it doesn't mean immediately because you have the information, you're going to be good at doing it. It takes time. So straight away, I'm like, I don't want you to come to my webinar if that's your attitude.
Yeah, exactly.
You go and find some scam artist that promises you in 6 months you'll make 6 figures.
Yeah.
You go find them. And when you find them and it don't work, find another and find another, and then start to realize it was you that was the problem all along. You believed that a successful person teaching business would be able to take a beginner from 0 to thousands in 6 months. You believed that, and that was the problem, because if you're teaching it properly, most people won't make a penny in the first 6 months.
That's just somebody that doesn't want to do the work, and it's as simple as that. And like you said, and rightly so, that's not somebody we want on the course, because you need to accept that there is going to be a level of work that needs to be done. And also another issue that people come to us with time and time again, not confident. You're not going to get confident overnight. So 6 months, you're building that confidence, you're building the skills, like you've just said. That's why it takes time. This is why I'm building your network and everything else. Building, a lot of people are building an online course. That doesn't happen overnight in itself. It takes time. So
it's that X factor mentality of seeing people go from nothing to be superstars in a few weeks. And people just need to really stop and reflect and go, hang on a minute, what are you doing? And it's that thing of when I talk about when Warren Buffett and Tony Robbins have said that quote about most people overestimate what they can do in a year, but they underestimate what they can do in a decade. It's that this is my year. And if I join this course within a year, I'll be making $1 million. Like, stop. Like, seriously, absolute nonsense. Very, very, very few people might do something like that, but that'll be down to a bit of luck, a bit of timing, many factors that you can't really control. So why would you even think like that? And that is why I'm offering something that's just unheard of with Online Business Mastery. Is not only do you get lifetime access to the modules, but you get 1.5 years of being part of a community with everybody else going through the course. And you get live calls every single month for 18 months. Because I know that's roughly about the time it's going to take to build something solid and start making decent money. So it's like, that's just what it takes. I'm not here to sell things that sound good. I'm here to sell things that are good. And if you can just have that patience and stop yo-yoing and stick to it and be committed and be consistent, you can put in the hard work up front so that after 18, 24 months, 36 months, you'll be in a position that very few people ever get to, ever. And you won't have to work as hard ever again, potentially. That's what I teach. A few years of real graft to live the rest of your life like very few people ever will.
Yeah. It's like I did an interview with Beth yesterday on the Success School Instagram, which I would highly encourage people to go and check out because she's actually on the course right now. She's actually making good money right now, even though she's only 6 months in, but she has also kept her job. She's still working as well. You know, this is the reality of it. And if we was to say anything different to that, then wouldn't be realistic for a lot of people, you know. And also, I think that's when people do throw the towel in and quit. If they're relying on, I've got to make this money after 6 months, then that's when they do give up. Whereas if they, you know, build it alongside something else, that's a sensible thing to do.
And she actually said on that live, didn't she, that financially I could leave my job now, but
Yeah.
I'm just wanting to take my time, and also I enjoy what I'm doing with my job. And
Yeah.
you know, it's a smart approach. It's a realistic
Smart.
approach.
Yeah, so smart. And you know, that's what we're all about. That's where the integrity comes in, because you know, we're honest about that.
Yeah. Brilliant. So the next one that I've written down is one of the mistakes people make is they don't have a specific tried and tested strategy or a system in place. You should, if you're following it right, to some degree, it should be almost predictable what's going to happen. Most people don't. They're just reactive. They just throw stuff at the wall and just hope something's going to work. But actually, if you're working like how we work and you have a solid mentor or a strategy, you should be able to plan it so it's within a certain sort of certain figures, I guess, pretty predictable what you're going to do. Like, so we've got a launch coming up on Monday. There is a free webinar. It's there to help people irrespective of whether you buy the program or not. But based on the data, based on the numbers, based on our experience and the strategy we've got in place, we created a good, better, and best target.
Yeah.
So kind of 3 financial targets for how many people are going to sign up. And we can confidently sit here today and say, like, it's almost 100% certainty, like nothing's ever 100% certain, right? As we were saying, that we will at least hit our good target. And that's not a will be, you know, it'll do. It's like, no, that's a good target. Then we've got even better than good, and then we've got best. But the bottom line, this will be good, is almost a guarantee now because we've followed the strategy. We've not rushed it. We've followed the data. We've had a plan, and we've done the work consistently. And that it's a beautiful place to be in your business. So we shall see. But that's how, if you're doing it correctly, that should be how you feel about your business. Is you've got the high end target and the lower end target, and you kind of know you're somewhere in between. Anything you want to add?
No, I think like exactly what you've just said. Really, it's being able to be in that position where you have that kind of knowledge, isn't it? Because you've had a strategy. It's not just like people just go in at things chaotically. That's the part that, like,
that was me as well. Again,
yeah, and that's not how I work or how my mind works at all. So that just gives me anxiety when people are just chaotic, and it's just like, I like it to be the way we've done it this time, where there's been a real clear strategy. That week we're doing that, and that week we're doing that, and that's what we're going to do. And it's been amazing, hasn't it? But like you said, because we've followed that strategy, we also know, you know, we've had targets along the way of, you know, this, that, and the other. Hitting those targets then gives you the kind of evidence you need to know that when you hit the launch, you should have what you need, rather than going in with no targets, no strategy, and just hoping for the best. Like, it's just on a wing and a prayer, and that doesn't work.
No. And it's that idea of working hard and smart.
Yeah.
It's both. It's not one or the other. We've both been working really bloody hard, but each week, each month we're about on target, and we've adjusted some targets. We've not quite hit some of the higher end targets, and then we've adjusted the overall targets. But there's, again, multiple factors. Some of it is the market, timing, all kind of stuff, which again is great data and things to be aware of and learn and reflect on. But yeah, working hard and smart. And the smart bit is actually having a strategy in place with clear targets that you can analyze over the weeks to know if you're on target or not. And we know we are.
Yeah.
We know we are. And it's something that most people, when they're starting out, they don't have any of that. And it's a big mistake, and it will just slow you down in getting results.
Yeah. Which again is why what you teach is so important, and this is what people can learn on Online Business Mastery. That's invaluable to people because they wouldn't know where to start with that otherwise.
So the next one that I've written down is the mistake that people make when they're new to business is they have lots of different offers. This is so common when I've been working with people that are new to business, like, and they've got all these different offers and there's all different price points for each offer. And well, I could do it like that, or I could do this, or, and it's just like, whoa, like I'm bored. I've got no idea what I'd buy off you. And it's like, how many of you sold that? Well, no, I'm not sold that yet. Okay. How many of you sold that? Well, one person's bought that program at that price, but none at that price. Okay. Well, I've got that. How many? 3 people on that. Okay. None on that. I'm like, right. But this is what people think to be a real business or a proper business. You need all these different offers and options. No, you don't. Actually, simplicity scales, complexity fails, right? If it's too complex, you put people off. And also, you yourself cannot deliver the best service when you've got 50 services to offer. So the way you get around that mistake is you focus on one solid thing first, and you become the best at that one thing first, and you get oversubscribed with that one thing first, right? That's what the aim should be. Not to be able to say, well, you can work with me one-to-one, you can do a coaching package for 3 weeks or 12 weeks, or we can do a one-off session, or you can join my membership, or you can come to my workshop, or you can come to my course. Like, no. Initially, when you're starting out, what I did was literally offer, I think it was 4-week packages one-to-one. That was it. And I think I did that for 8 months. And around 8 months, I was doing around 10 grand a month from zero. And my first month, I probably did a few £100. It literally scaled like that. I had no membership. I had no course. I had no group program. I weren't doing events. I didn't have a book, right? I just offered one-to-one coaching 4 weeks. Come and join. In fact, you were one of my first clients.
I was.
Now, I had a bit of a membership before that you joined. But that were the really early days when I was with my cousin and we were just trying stuff, and we did that. And that was great in its own right. It didn't really make any money, but it was a little bit of a just getting used to stuff. And then I just went all in on one-to-one coaching, as I say, for about, 8 months till I started getting around, I don't know if it was 10 grand after 8 months. It might have been 7.5, I think, in the December time. And then in the April, I did, I think it was just short of 13,000 in 1 month. And it was all one-to-one. Now, yes, I have a couple of courses. Yes, I have a membership. Yes, we do a couple of events a year, blah, blah, but not in the beginning. So I think that's the first thing, is get really good at one thing. And if you're not selling that one thing, analyze it. Why? Is it that you're not good? Is it that your market's bad? Your marketing, sorry. Is it that you're selling it to the wrong people that don't want it? Is it that the price point is wrong? Is it that you need to tweak what they get within? Like, get one thing excellent, get really clear on make it the best. But people don't just go, oh, it's not selling, so I'll sell something else. Oh, that's not selling, so I'll offer something else, and that's not selling. No, come back to your initial offer. And what I teach is make it a no-brainer, irresistible offer for that target audience. Anything you want to add to that one?
Yeah, I would say actually on the selling side of it, I said this to you the other week about sales. I find selling easy if I believe in the product. So if you've got one thing that you have put your heart and soul into, that you believe in 100%,
this is such a good point.
It's going to be so much easier to sell. That is, like, honestly, the best gold I can give you. Because if you're developing this and this and this and this and this, and you're like, oh, that could be better in that, because in our own heads, we're our own worst critic, right? And you've not even got 100% faith in everything that you're trying to sell, you're not going to sell it well. If you get one thing and I don't believe in perfection, let's say that, but you can get it as good as you can get it, and you really believe in that product, and you know that it can bring value to people, and or service, you know that, 100%, you're going to have the passion in you to be able to sell that. The sales will come And then, then you can develop the next thing and have real passion about that, and then you'll be able to sell that. But that would be my best advice. None of us like selling, but some people do, but most of us don't like selling. But if you really believe in something, you're actually not even having to sell as such, because you're just offering it to people.
It's just a service.
Exactly. You're like, I've got this product and it will really help you. Do you want it?
I sometimes when I'm voice noting people, I'm like, it's too early to sell to them. But I'm like, based on the stuff they've said to me, I'm like, you just need to buy my program. How do I say that without saying, like, because I'm just like, yes, we sort that out. Yes, everyone I've ever worked with have had that problem and overcome it. Yes, I know your fears. Like, you're just like, I know we serve you. Like, I know we solve those problems you're saying, but I don't, like, I might have just been chatting to this person for 3.5 minutes and it's like, buy my course. But it's like, you need to. I'm like, I know it, because we've put so much time, thought, effort, and we've had so many clients doing it and getting results. Like, I just know it serves our target audience.
Yeah.
So it's so true. Like, when you really believe in it, you're like, I know you've not built trust with me yet. I know you've not been watching me for months. I know you've not built rapport, but just fucking trust me and buy the
You need this.
and because it's not, and this is such a different energy. It's not like, please buy, I really need money. It's like, you need this.
You need this. You need this. It's so true. It's game changing when you can realize it. And also, I think the other side of selling, and the side of it that kind of panics people and why they don't like making cold calls and they don't like doing this, that, and the other, is the fear of the objections that are going to come.
Yep.
But if you've got so much faith in that product and so much, you don't care, because you're like, throw an objection at me.
I've got the answer.
I've got the answer.
And if you still don't buy it, this is just me having a bit of banter, but it's like, it's a you problem.
Yeah.
It's literally a you problem. Your mindset is not in a place yet to value it or to believe in it or to trust or whatever. It really does. So it's not like rejection. It's not like a personal, like, oh, it's like, I've got loads of people buying that are loving it. And I know they had the same problems and worries that you have. And I know I can help you. It really is. It's such a different energy where you've done the groundwork and you know it's that perfect solution and product or service. So yeah, it's a great point that you touch upon about, it's very hard to ever get to that point where you're just selling loads of different stuff or quitting too early or not analyzing the data or not looking at how you can improve it. If you can just really work at it and tweak it and get to the point where you know it's the best it can be, sales becomes, like you say, so much easier.
Yeah.
Any comments that you can see over there?
We've got one from Adi saying, I feel that's where I was during our month of coaching back in September. Haha. I don't know what you mean by that, Adi, because we've gone on that much of a long-winded ramble. I don't know what point.
Doesn't sound like us.
Give me a pointer that you was like, where was you? Which bit?
Maybe it was having
loads of... everyone, if I keep like wiping my eyes, I've got really, really bad hay fever and I'm taking everything I can take and my eyes are still streaming. So I'm sorry, I'm not crying, I promise.
Honest. I don't work that hard. I would assume, correct me if I'm wrong, Adi, if you're still there, I would assume it's maybe just had loads of different products and services and prices. From memory, I think it might have been that, you know, all these great ideas, but not just one solid, well thought out, perfect, irresistible offer, potentially. Yeah. But again, Adi's on online business mastery. So we should know better.
Buy my course, he said.
What did he say?
With the just buy my course.
So true, because obviously you understand it that people, because I teach it, right? People need to get to know you and like you and trust you, and that takes time. So it's like, I know that, but I'm like, oh, if you could just skip that bit, we can get to, I can help you, man. Like, just fucking buy it now. It does, like, you do feel like that when you know what you do helps people, don't you? And you know that you're speaking to your target audience, and you know from asking the right questions that what they're saying is what you deliver, like what they need. It's just, but a lot of business owners, they're not in that position. They're just kind of trying stuff and hope that they feel like a fraud, that they're not going to get found out. Is how a lot of people feel. All right, let's move on. Yeah, next one I said it is a mistake when people are starting is it sounds like a contradiction to the last point, but it's a nuance I think that needs to be understood, which is they get trapped into only ever doing one thing.
Mm.
And I think that's look, it's fine if all you offer brings you in millions of pounds of passive income, but that's not what people do. They get stuck only doing one-to-one and they don't know how to evolve and get out of that position. So what they find is they're just always trading their time for money. And that can get to be like a scary place to be. And it feels like you're on a hamster wheel because there's two things you're doing. On one hand, you're trying to really serve those clients to the best of your ability so that they're getting results and, you're doing a great service. But on the other hand, naturally, relationships will come to an end. There will be a client that goes, I've worked with you 6 months. Thank you. I've got what I need for now. And if you're charging 400 quid a month, 500 quid a month, £1,000 a month, £2,000 a month, and 2 or 3 clients come to the end that same month, just to replace that income, there's a lot of marketing that you have to do, right? Or a lot of people have to do. So you feel like there's 2 things you're constantly having to do, which is on one hand, really deliver to your clients and they're taking all your one-to-one time and energy. And on another hand, keep marketing, keep engaging, keep doing sales calls to keep bringing clients in. And people just get trapped. They just get stuck being busy. They've created what we call a profitable job. It's not a business. We talk about getting into business so that you can really feel a sense of progress and impact and freedom and choice and flexibility over your life. And actually, they're just now in a job that they would never, ever sign up for. They're working 7 days a week. They're doing often 18-hour days. Sometimes there's barely any money left over because they're plowing it back into marketing to try and get new clients, right? And it's like, and then people get stuck there and then they think entrepreneurship isn't for me. I should just probably get a job where actually at least I get paid for my holidays and sick pay and have my weekends off and evenings off. So that's the other trap on the other side, which is never learning how to scale and evolve. That I think is a big mistake, especially like a lot of personal trainers, therapists, life coaches, social media managers, those kind of people get trapped just always at a certain income. It might be £4,000 a month, £5,000 a month, just always busy. And they never feel I have the time to evolve that business model. But I teach from day one not to do that. Is there anything you want to add to that one?
Yeah, I think you can find as well with those sorts of people, they'll kind of exhaust what we would call a warm audience, because so technically they will find it easier at the start because they've got a warmer audience around them that's like people that, like Matt keeps saying, know, like, and trust them. So they will come in and be their clients. But like Matt said, if you're good at what you do and, say, for example, you're a PT or whatever, and you get that person to their goal, and the likelihood is they're not going to stick around.
Yeah.
Then you've got to get another client to replace that client. But that pool of people that you had that were your warm audience have kind of gone. So then it's like, well, who's next? Who am I going to get in next? And because they've been focusing all the time and attention on that one-to-one time and no spare time to do anything else in terms of like outreach or anything like that, that's where they become kind of unstuck. So that's what Matt's saying about, he doesn't teach that. Like, that's not the way forward because people do hit a brick wall sooner or later with that. Yep. And even if they don't, and even if they can keep finding more clients, like I was saying at the beginning of this live about, schedule and time blocking and managing your time, you soon realize when you start doing that, you only have so many hours in a day. There's only so many people that you can service in a day, so to speak. And then you're kind of capped, aren't you, in that sense that like you can only earn so much money because there's only so many hours in a day kind of thing. So that's where...
Well, you can put your prices up, but the problem with that is you're still trading the time for money. And obviously what I teach is how can you package what you do in different ways. So memberships offer recurring revenue. And with that, you don't have to always deliver the sessions. We have in the Success School membership, you'll often take the mastermind sessions and I won't even be present. We'll sometimes get guest speakers that just take the session. I might be there just to listen, but I'm not actually really having to do anything. So you can be the curator when it's in a subscription-based sort of membership model. You've also then got, like your signature course, like what we've got with Online Business Mastery, which again, a lot of it is a lot of work up front, a lot of devising it and producing it and creating all the pre-recorded modules. But once that's done, you can then resell that year after year after year. Once that work's done, that's how it can become kind of semi-passive income / passive income. And if you learn how to launch properly, we did that launch last year, which did over 18 grand in a week or 2 weeks, I think. I've done multiple collaborative launches that have done just less than 30,000 in a week. A massive influx of cash from that one solid launch that you could do a year or twice a year, something like that. That's the stuff that I teach people to do. So you're not just stuck in the one-to-one mentality.
And it doesn't mean that you can't do one-to-one either, but at least you get a bit more flexibility to pick and choose as and when you want to do it, rather than having to be like absolutely committed to it, because that is the only way you can make money.
Correct. I still do one-to-one. I still enjoy doing one-to-one. In fact, I enjoy doing one-to-one. Not still. There were times where I didn't, because most of what I teach is from experience of getting it wrong, and I was that person that was just doing one-to-one. But like this week, I've not had a single one-to-one call, not one. I don't think I had one last week. I might have had a couple. I've purposely done that because I wanted to be more present for this launch and for everything that we need to do for this, and I can do that, right? So yeah, it's not saying you have to quit one-to-one altogether. It's just making sure you're able to choose what and when you want to focus on.
Yeah. And how many conversations have we had recently with people where they've been talking about success? We had Josh Dexter yesterday on Success School Membership. I did a live with Matt Zena yesterday where I interviewed him. Both of them really touched upon one of the biggest things of what they view as success is freedom. And that's exactly what it provides. It's the freedom to choose.
Completely. Yeah. I just want to say, if anyone's just tuning in and you want to learn this stuff in a little bit more depth, just a reminder is this coming Monday, we've got a free webinar from 7:00 UK time, about 90 minutes, might go over a little bit with a Q&A, maybe up to about 2 hours, probably max. You need to register. So just drop me a DM saying I'd love to register, and I'll just send you the link, and then that'll put you in the system where it's all automated, and it'll send you the Zoom link and the reminders and all that kind of good stuff. But yeah, we're going to go in deep, not just talking about this sort of in theory. I'm going to give you strategy, and I'm going to give you step by step on Monday night. So make sure you are, if this is of interest to you, make sure you are signed up for that. All right, last couple of things. I always find this a difficult one to say, in the sense that I feel like it's one that very easily people just get cynical about and just be like, oh, he's just trying to sell to us. I do always think that. So I just really encourage you, just open your mind a little bit, because what I'm teaching is based on 15 years of experience, not just being a business strategist that sells coaching, actually being in different businesses for years. So the next one that I I'm hesitant to say, but I'm a firm believer in, is people do not invest early enough into coaching, mentors, into building a team, in getting, staff and things like that. They don't do it early enough, because again, it comes down to fear of losing the money and not making it back. Fear of hiring the wrong person. And it's like, I've hired the wrong people. I've had to let them go in my businesses. I've paid for coaches where they overpromised and underdelivered, and I didn't get results. I've paid thousands of pounds. But it's like anything. Let's use relationships. Let's say you have a string of relationships that haven't worked out how you wanted to. What do? Just go, right, fuck it, I'll just stay single forever. All men are bastards. All women are twats. Or what? Is that it then? No, it's like through those relationships, you learn the lessons. You figure out more what you want, what you don't want, what you'll accept, what you won't accept, And through that, you find better, and not just intimate relationships, friendships.
Yeah.
You have to go through. You've got to be open to keep trying. And when I go, I love it. We got Healing Hearts. We got Nicola on TikTok saying there is love out there. Absolutely. When I go back to starting that first company that I started at 19, I didn't really know there was business mentors or coaches you could actually pay for. But I also, again, I don't like to throw him under the bus, but I did have a business partner. And one of the things he said to me early on, which was really bad advice that I would not really say to anyone myself, was let's not hire people, because that money we'd have, spent on hiring other people, we could just do that work and pocket the cash. And I'm like, that is the worst, dreadful, awful, terrible advice you could give someone in business. Like the only way you make great money is building a power team, having the best coaches, mentors, communities, support, staff, assistants, videographers, editors, like graphic designers. All these people are what make you successful in the long run. Always come back to Jess and James, who said there is no self-made, because he's a multimillionaire. He's like, there's no self-made millionaire. He's like, we're not independent, we're interdependent. We as human beings are more successful when we have our team, when we have our tribe. So it's that thing of getting over, like, even things like you have to waste money on sponsored ads and Facebook ads, like, to start getting a return on them. But you have to be willing to lose thousands initially. So, and not everyone can initially with that. But as a general rule and as a general approach, it's like, if you want to make great money, the only way you're going to do it is by investing great money. And I know that's hard. And I know it's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy. But it's important you're aware of the reality. That is true. You do need to spend money to make money. So I think the mistake a lot of people make is they spend not just months or a couple of years, sometimes like 5-10 years just consuming free content, or just, being in the membership, paying 19 quid, or just doing the cheap stuff and the free stuff, figuring it all out. And it's just like, that won't cut it. Like, it'll always keep you at a low level. You do have to get to a point, and I would say the sooner the better, where you do invest in the bigger stuff. You do get team members on that you can't afford. But guess what? When you get it right, the way you afford them is because you brought them on. Anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I always think it's very interesting as well how you'll see people come into this space and start these sorts of businesses where they want to sell a product, where they want people to invest in them, but they never spend any money investing in themselves. And it's like, it's a very interesting double standard that I'm not quite sure what they think makes them so special and different, that like everybody needs me, but I don't need anybody, kind of thing. And it's like you just said, we all need mentors and coaches and help and support and, staff and all. Like, we all need that. No man is an island. I truly believe that. And I genuinely think the power of two minds being able to just bounce off each other, and it's huge. It's huge.
So like, these are such important things for people to get. And I was thinking this the other day, there's a couple of things that sort of, to piggyback off those points, and it's that phrase we've all heard, which is people that pay attention. And it's so true. When you're investing good money into mentorship or coaching or being in a mastermind or whatever, and it's good money that you can't afford to lose, you're like, I'm going to soak everything up. I'm going to follow everything you say. I'm going to make sure everything you tell me to do, I do, and a little bit more.
Yeah.
Whereas when it's free, I'm tired tonight, I'll look at that course later. Or, people just don't put the same focus on it when it's free. And the other thing that I was thinking about the other day, which piggybacks off what you were saying there, is that people sell how they buy.
Yes. That's what I'm trying to say, and I've not articulated well, but that's exactly it. Yeah.
That's it. So it's that thing of they're tight arses. And they're always, that's expensive. And that's how they think about things when they're buying. So then when they come to sell stuff, it's like they can never sell because they have such a bad relationship with money. So they feel like there's an energy exchange when you're offering a service. And when you're like, can I have 40 quid? But you think 40 quid's a lot of money to ask for someone. You're not very convincing. You don't reassure them that that's a good 40 quid investment. The difference is when you have a good relationship with money, and coming back to what we were saying earlier, what you deliver is of the highest value. You're like, it's only 10 grand. Like, it's an absolute bargain. It's a very different energy. So if you struggle to invest in yourself, you will struggle to sell. It's a real, very, very real correlation. If you struggle to invest in yourself, you'll struggle to sell. In other words, if you're never willing to invest money, you'll never make money.
Yeah. It's really very interesting as well. Like, I think, look at events, for example. And, we went to a fabulous event the other week. We put on our own events. So we've got a lot of experience around events. And you just look at if it's a free event and the caliber of people that turn up, or if it's something that people have to buy a ticket for.
Go on, be honest. We went to an event recently. How much was the tickets? at a discounted rate.
I think the cheapest tickets were £200 each.
And that was a discounted rate.
Mm.
£200 for a day's event that was very similar to what we delivered for, what was it, 21 quid? Some of the same speakers.
Yeah, well, some of the same speakers.
And for the top package, it was like, I think, £800 for a ticket.
Yeah.
For one ticket.
But the calibre of people in that room, the people that we got to network with, absolutely amazing.
And not just that, they were like, this has been such a good day. They weren't like, fucking hell, 200 quid for this. Whereas we do have people like, you know, 21 quid plus parking.
Yeah.
It's a different attitude,
yeah,
vibe, approach. It's a completely different, as you said, caliber of people that you're around.
Yeah, so different. And at the end of the day, like, granted, not everybody has a lot of spare money. You know,
Yep.
I've come from a very, very working class background. I get that completely.
Same.
But in terms of business, I think there's just such a massive difference, even between, you know, going, oh, well, I'll go to that free, you know, event because, well, I might as well because it's free. And the intentionality of, I'm going to pay my £21 and I'm going to go along because I'm investing in myself, because I deserve this and I'm worth this. And there's such a massive difference in mindset between even those two things. And obviously, like you said, that's like such the lower end of the scale in terms of the way some people can and do invest in themselves. But like you said, you know, everybody's in the event and everyone's like, oh, this is amazing. Like, it's been such an amazing day. Nobody's begrudged paying that money in any way, shape or form because they feel that they're worth it and that investing in themselves is worth it and the connections they've made is worth it. And yeah. So
and they know they'll make it back. So that's another thing. It comes down to their own belief and backing themselves, knowing they'll make that investment work. A lot of people don't have that. They just know they're winging it and they're not actually putting in the hard yards behind closed doors and they're not putting in the reps. This is just going to be really open and honest, which I'm not shy about being. We've spoken about, and I've spoken with loads of business owners. There's a real correlation between the people who pay the least, expect the most, and complain the most.
Yeah.
It's just factual. Anyone that's been in business, I'm sure, will be like, yep, right? The people who pay the least expect the most and complain the most. The people who pay the most are happiest.
Yeah.
Like, I went to this amazing event the other day. It was about £4,000 a ticket. Really good. Amazing. You got someone else over here going, I paid £10 for this and it was £3 parking and it finished 4 minutes early. I want a refund. It's just a mentality difference.
Bizarre. We see it.
We see it.
We see it all the time, but it's been eye-opening for me, actually, massively eye-opening for me. And I think,
do you mean working with us, like on this, with Success School and everything?
Yeah, and also like I used to work in a hair and beauty salon where we used to get a lot of that as well. Like, so eye-opening, where you get people that come in and have all sorts done and spend a fortune and leave on cloud nine, and you get other people that come in and be like, I'll have a quick trim that's 10 quid and then kick off. And it's like, like, I don't get it, you know. It's mad. And
it's not throwing shade at them. It's saying, reflect. What are you expecting to get from the world with that attitude?
Exactly. And like you said, very much about the way they buy is the way they sell, and that is the big problem. And I see that with people all the time, because the way they buy, the attitude they have. Like you said, it's like they're asking somebody for the earth when they're trying to sell them something, rather than it just being such a natural transactional thing of like, I've got a really valuable thing here, do you want it?
Completely. That brings me on nicely when you said transactional. My next point, this is second to last point, is they don't spend anywhere near enough time building genuine relationships. They just put out their offer and they expect everyone to come, or they follow a load of people and they create a load of content and like, why is no one engaging with my content? Well, when was the last time you engaged with their content? When was the last time you replied to what they've put out on their story, or supported their post and put a comment on their post, or shared some of their work? Right? So if these are people that you're hoping will buy from you, build relationships with them. And it's really simple, but it's a major mistake that a lot of people just don't do. They're just so focused on, I need this, I need that. What would happen if you flipped it and went, how many people can I serve today? How many people can I build relationships today? How many people can I be interested in today and ask questions about them? Naturally, you're going to get more sales as a byproduct down the line. But up front, all you're doing is just being a good bloody human being, and people buy from people they know, like, and trust. They're more likely to buy from you when they know you're a good human being. Anything you want to say on that?
I think it just brings it back beautifully full circle to exactly where you started this live, actually, where you were saying thank you to people and saying how grateful you were, because I think that drives home the point that you're making at the start perfectly, in the sense that those people that are showing up for you and are supporting you and are sharing your content and all the rest of it, a lot of them will be doing that because you've been supportive towards them.
Yeah.
And you've shown up for them and you've liked their stuff and you've encouraged them and all the rest of it. People don't forget kindness. People don't forget how you make them feel. And I think when you can make people feel seen, and like you've just said then, and I said, like, my human needs completely changed from needing certainty to being of service to people. It's so fulfilling, but also it comes back tenfold. And I wish more people realize that like, if you can show up and be kind and be giving, people are kind and giving back. And when you need that, it comes right when you need it. And it's definitely been the case for both of us this last week, hasn't it? Where the kindness, it's so touching, because you're like, wow, like all of these people. And some of them are like incredibly successful and all the rest of it. And they're like, yeah, sure, Matt, I've got you. You know what I mean? It's like,
oh, true. Like, we're so lucky. I mean, when you look at our network and the people we're connected with now, and they'll do great things. They'll help you out because you built those relationships.
Absolutely. Because when they've been promoting something or doing something, we're like, come on, well done, amazing.
Final one. And we're going to show a little slide to help people with this. So this is not being specific enough about their ideal client avatar. This is, again, something that I made the mistake of initially, and I see people doing all the time, which is trying to sell everything to everyone and not getting really clear on, hang on, who can I best serve? Who is most likely going to want this product, this service, whatever it is? And how can I understand them really, really well? And I just wanted to share this. This is something that I shared with the people going through Online Business Mastery. So it's a slide from there to give people an example of the level of depth. So this is literally one of our client avatars. So some of you watching might be like, hang on a minute, I sound a bit like her. Yeah, that's intentional. Like, we've intentionally gone out and found people that fit this bill, and we've connected with you and we've built relationships with you, because it's so much easier to do business with people when they really feel seen and heard and understood, and you really solve their problems, than it is just throwing stuff out to the world and going, anybody buy my course, it's for everyone. It's that thing of, if you try and be everything to everyone, you'll be nothing to no one. You've got to be specific. So I just thought it might be useful to actually share this with people today, the level of specificity and understanding that we have. So this is one of our avatars. We have a couple, but this is Jess, the frustrated online coach. This is somebody who is our perfect client. These would be perfect for working with me one-to-one. They'd be perfect for doing Online Business Mastery, and they'd be perfect for something we're going to release later this year, but that's going to be quite a high ticket program. So Jess is 34. She's either could be an online life coach, or she could be an online personal trainer. Her current income, she does around 2,000 to 4,000 per month consistently, and it's predominantly from one-to-one based or session-based work. Here's some of her pain points. She's feeling burnt out. She feels like she's trading time for money, and she is unsure of how can I scale. Her big goal, she would love to be earning around 8,000 to 10,000 pounds per month consistently, but doing it where she has more freedom, more flexibility, more choice. That's the big goal. And her dream would be to create a signature course or a membership and be able to scale that to impact without burning out and working all hours. What's her frustration? Well, she's frustrated because she feels like she's just winging it with Canva and Instagram. She doesn't have any systems in place. She's got no funnel. She's got no automation. She maybe doesn't have like an email list or anything like that. She hears about it. She knows she needs to do it, but she isn't doing it. What's her current mindset? She's ambitious, but she is feeling overwhelmed. And she's bought courses before. This time she wants results, not just another purchase. Where does she mainly hang out? She hangs out on Instagram. She's in Facebook groups. She watches YouTube. She listens to podcasts like Diary of a CEO, School of Greatness, High Performance Podcast. What she needs to hear, this is important for you to understand. What does she need to hear? She needs to hear you don't need more followers. You just need the right system with the followers that you've got. What does she currently believe? She actually believes I'm great at what I do. I am good. I know my clients love me. I get great feedback, but I'm bad at business. And what she wants is someone to give her a proven framework and have someone that will help her actually implement that framework. This is one of our genuine ideal client avatars. That is our perfect client, right? Can you see when it comes to what content should I make? What should be the topic of my podcast episode this week? What should be the YouTube tutorial I put out this week? Who should we look for to do outreach and start relationship building with? What groups, communities, forums, Facebook groups, memberships should we join and engage with? Can you see how much easier it is now and how much faster we can build a business? Like, we've been doing a lot of outreach recently. And I was just saying what a joy it is. So we've sent out anyone that's signed up to our webinar, you will have received a WhatsApp. Unless you did it today, you'll receive a WhatsApp tomorrow. And the WhatsApp is just saying, hey, we just want to confirm so we have a rough idea of numbers. Are you actually going to make it on Monday? And the amount of people that have said yes, but not just that, they said, thanks for the reminder, really looking forward to it, or can't wait, or definitely going to be there. And they're excited about our webinar. Versus when you just send it out to everyone and people are like, oh, I kind of think I want that or whatever. And they're kind of reluctant. They're like, oh, will it just be another shit webinar? Or I'm not sure. It's like, because we've purposely gone out and found people that fit this avatar. People are coming back like really enthusiastic about being there. It's the same with the DMs. We've been speaking to people and I've just said, look, I know it's a little bit forward and it's a little bit frustrating when somebody's like, oh, come to my free webinar, and they're trying to, sell to you straight away. But I just want to make sure you know what this is. I'm doing it this Monday. Would you like to come? The amount of people are like, hell yeah, that sounds brilliant. I'll come. It's no coincidence. It's because the people we're having these conversations with are Jess. And what we do solves Jess's problems. So how beneficial would it be in your business, in your marketing, in your outreach, in your selling, if you had this level of depth with your ideal client avatar? So I just thought I'd share that, just because people talk all the time about niche down, know your target audience, ideal client avatar. And they're like, yeah, well, I just kind of, I want to help coaches make more money or whatever. Or I want to, let's take Jen's example, beginners, help them paint. Full stop, the end. That's as far as most people go with the client avatar. I'm not saying Jen did, but I'm just thinking of that kind of business. That's what people do. Look at the difference if you go to this level of detail. Anything you want to say on that one, Helen?
I think, yeah, just absolutely that. And you look at who we have and it's these people. So it shows that it works as well, right? And also one of the things that you missed as well is like networking as well, because an awful lot of people that you speak to, like, I hate networking, I can't stand networking. It's, actually though, are you finding the right events based upon the ideal client? Or are you just rocking up to any networking events that is completely misaligned with what you're trying to achieve, who you're trying to speak to and everything else? So I think this is really important to actually do the work on and to get deep on who exactly am I trying to look for. And it doesn't mean, that the person has to be exactly 34, but that is around the age range of the people that generally, some of them are going to be older, some of them are going to be younger, obviously.
We had exactly that, Helen. I actually posted this as a screenshot in a post in our Facebook group. If anyone's not already in there, come on over. It's a free group. Got over 900 members in there. It's called Online Business Growth Hub. just type that into Facebook. It's a Facebook group, Online Business Growth Hub. And I put content in there every day. And I posted something just showing a few of these slides from a recent webinar we did at Online Business Mastery. And there was a lady who went, oh my God, she like commented saying, that is exactly me. Like she listens to those podcasts, everything. She went, apart from the fact, I think she said I'm in my 60s or whatever. but it's like, it doesn't matter.
No.
Like, you know, that's the thing. There will be variation, but it's like coming back to your point about going to events, networking. You know, at that event recently, there were so many Jesses in that room.
Absolutely.
I'm like, you're a Jess, you're a Jess. And so then you're enthusiastic because you know exactly who they are and you know what you do is what they want and need. So it's like, oh my God, this is a great conversation.
Yeah.
Versus being
Jess could absolutely be male as well, by the way. It's not gender specific.
It can be for some businesses. For ours, in this example, it's not. But yeah, that's a great point to make. You know, for some businesses, it will be like there'll be, for example, I think Lynn Cutler, who does women in business, you know, she's predominantly looking for women in business, obviously. So it can be.
Yeah, and to be fair, we know from our analytics and all the rest of it that actually the large majority of your clientele is actually female. So it is more likely to be female than male. We know that. You know, we absolutely know that, which again is why you've just mentioned Lynn, and people might see us, you know, we've been to some of Lynn's events, haven't we? And people might think, well, why is he at Women in Business? But actually, well, that's exactly where Matt's audience is, women in business. Like that's who they are. So, you know, it's completely actually aligned, even though on the outside it might look like it makes no sense.
Right, it's time to do a big shop, love.
Big shop. Oh, I tell you, we've got an exciting life.
Friday night, and we're on live, and then our reward at the end of finally finishing work at 8:20 at night is we're both going to go and do our big shop.
Friday big shop. We love a Friday big shop.
Absolute rock and roll. How times have changed. A big shop and a big clean. I want to do a bit of a deep clean on my kitchen.
Oh, I did mine this morning, didn't I? I was like, I'm getting this cleaning done, Matt. Needs to do it.
Feels great, doesn't it, when you get it done? Guys, thank you so much again. Just to echo what I said at the beginning, there's a lot of enthusiasm about what we're doing. There's a lot of enthusiasm about the webinar on Monday, and also about my paid program, which is Online Business Mastery. And it's just so, I'm just so grateful, really. Like, just thank you so much, everybody that is supporting, that is, you know, getting involved. For those who are thinking of investing, like, that's amazing. And also just those that are just getting a lot out of the content and want to come to the free webinar just to learn from that. That's great as well. Just appreciate the support, the engagement, and I really hope what we're doing is genuinely helping. I know we get a lot of messages saying it is, and that's just the best feeling ever. If you don't already have the details, it's this Monday, 7 p.m. That is our Passion into Profit free webinar, about an hour and a half. It's for anybody who either wants to start a business or is like Jess and she's in business, but she needs some help being able to grow that business. That webinar and the paid program is exactly for. So drop us a message if you want me to send you the link. You do have to make sure that you register. And that's how you'll get all the details. And we'll see you there on Monday. Helen, anything you want to say?
No, just thank you, everyone, and have a lovely weekend, everyone, and just, enjoy. And I really, really hope to see so many of you on Monday, because I hope that from seeing these lives and stuff, you get a good, you know, feel for us and for our vibe and the kind of people we are, and that you're going to show up and come and join us and see what you can learn.
100%. Thank you so much, everybody. Get in the inbox if you want me to send you the link to register, and then we'll see you on Monday. Right, let's get to big shop, love. Take care, everybody. See you later.
Bye.